What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. My name is Zachary, Neel, and as promised earlier in the week, we have a very, very special guest coming up for this episode. None other than Oregon Ducks head coach Dan Lanning, stopping by during the bye week to chat with us for a little bit about the Wisconsin game, about going forward the rest of this season, and then just some general stuff about this team and with some quick hitter questions. We had to talk golf with him. I promise you right now. We talk a little bit of golf at the end. Great interview. A lot of fun getting Dan on. Really appreciate his time with the bye week. Without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the man of the hour here, the one and only Dan Lanning, head coach of the Oregon Ducks. Dan, thanks for taking some time with us during the bye week. How you doing?
Doing great, Zach. Thanks for having me.
First question, have you dried out from Saturday night yet?
I'm dry, man. Took a little while. It was a little wet out there.
You never seem to wear waterproof anything or jackets. It's always like soft shell sweatshirts. What's the deal there? Do we need to talk to Kenny? What's going on here?
We got plenty of gear here. I just feel like I want to be in the fight with the players a little bit, right? And that's just not my style.
I kind of thought that might be your answer.
Someday maybe, but I like being in the mix.
Is that the wettest game that you've ever been a part of? I mean, do you think that was it? Have you been in many snow games before? What's the craziest conditions you've been in?
I've been in a few, but yeah, that would be the most unique conditions that I've ever been in as a coach. You know, when I was at Georgia, we played against Kentucky, and there was some pretty good rain in a game there, but it probably didn't compare to this one.
What challenges does that present? I mean, ball security, obviously the passing game, but as far as coaching, like play sheets, equipment, what does that present for you?
Yeah, you prepare for all of it. And everything's soaking wet on the sideline. You got to have a plan. How are you going to make sure you can change out the ball in between plays? You spend a lot of time in prep for every one of those details that you just mentioned. There's a lot of stuff on your call sheet that you might erase pretty quick or cross off because of the conditions.
Are you someone who changes at halftime, change fresh pair of socks or anything?
I didn't. No, I never have. Our players, we changed our players into some different stuff at halftime, but not necessarily all of them.
We can talk about the defense all day long. They've been great this year, but the rushing attack is what really impressed me the most on Saturday. Wisconsin is a really good run defense and one of the best in the nation. You guys kept pounding, got over 200 yards, a lot of that in the second half. What are you most proud of for your guys in that instance, staying with that and going through it throughout the game?
Yeah, and that game became that kind of flavor, right? You had to play that. But going into the game, we knew that we wanted to really commit to the run because of what the conditions were going to look like. It's a strength of our team, too. Our guys do it well. And we knew it was a strength of theirs. So we had to figure out some ways that we could do it. We struggled there early in the first half to kind of find some ways that we were going to generate, positive rush. And I thought our players and our coaches did a good job of figuring that out and making sure that they stayed committed to it in the second half.
How difficult is that sometimes when you have something that you go into a game thinking that's part of your game plan, and then early on it might not go as planned necessarily to stick with that throughout the game? How tough is that as a coach? Have you learned how to do that better over your years as a coach?
Yeah, I think you gotta recognize that it's important, and if it's something you said was important before the game, you got to figure out how it's continues to be important throughout the game. And in those moments, you can buckle, you can start to think, okay, wait, is this the right thought? But that game, it was very clear that's something that we got to figure out how we can do it and do it well. And our guys were able to do that.
I've always been curious about this. How much of a hand do you have in the offensive play calling? Does Will run stuff by you? Do you hear it as he's given the call to Dante? What is that process like?
Yeah, we hear it all. I mean, I'd say our entire offensive staff, it's a really collaborative effort. My input probably comes up a little bit more in short yardage situations. But ultimately, Will handles that, does a great job of managing our entire offensive staff. And he'd be the first one to tell you that everybody on our offensive staff is contributing to, that success on game day, including game day. But a lot of these decisions that we make, we're making them on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday throughout the week. When we get to Saturday, he's just executing the plan that we've kind of put in place.
Have there been specific times where you hear him call something and you maybe didn't love it and it ended up going for a big game?
Oh, there's certainly moments like that on both sides of the ball, right? And that always happens. But we've got really good coaches, and they do an unbelievable job. Will's certainly one of those guys that does an unbelievable job executing that.
You mentioned really good coaches. You got two of the best coordinators in the sport right now, and it's at this point part of the job. They're going to be talked about as candidates for other spots as they open up. What have you learned in your time as a head coach for you and your staff for dealing with this type of stuff, these type of rumors as they pop up during the middle of the season?
Well, the reality is, you want opportunities for your staff. You want to put them in places where they can create the same opportunities that have been created for yourself. So I'm excited about that for our guys. On the same note, I think we've made this place unbelievable to the point where there's a lot of times every single year that our coaches have said no to a lot of opportunities because it wasn't the right opportunity for them. They didn't necessarily want that. And then growth within the program is really important, right? Continuity's been a big positive for us. But when you have coaches on staff that you feel like you can grow from within, it allows guys to have opportunities down the road, but it also allows opportunities to advance guys within your staff.
I want to ask you about your young team. It's very different from years past, just in the sense of the number of underclassmen who are contributing in their first or second year. Has that changed the way that you've coached it all this year, just in terms of establishing the culture for these new guys, keeping things in line when games get tight? Because some of these players, they don't know what it's like to be in a one possession game in the fourth quarter on the road. Have you had to adapt to that younger team at all?
Not a ton of challenges, and I'd argue at this point now we're no longer a young team because those young guys have experience. So that was something to start the season off. But these guys have matured really well and handled those situations really well. There'll be some more situations we have to handle this season, but overall, the things that coming into the season saying, okay, we're going to have youth and we're not going to have a lot of experience or leadership, like that's changed because we've developed that over time.
I want to ask you about recruiting really quick. You've always said that relationships are key in recruiting, whether it's the transfer portal or high school kids. Have you seen that shift at all in the NIL era when there's some kids who may be more interested in a paycheck rather than whether they can be developed or what might be best for them?
Yeah, I think to say that NIL and some of the things that exist in our world aren't a piece of the puzzle would be a huge mistake. But I still think over time relationships pay off, and where it probably pays off the most for us. You look at our team. Year 4 now, we've never lost a single starter to the transfer portal. I don't think that's very common in college football. That speaks to me to relationships, to development, to guys enjoying where they're at.
I've got a few quick hitters before we get out of here. That work?
Yeah.
All right. You always say that you don't play the game, but I'm curious, if you did have to suit up for a drive in one of these games, where would you put yourself and how do you think you'd do?
Oh man,
Are you
maybe
going
like
to linebacker?
maybe like a wing on field goal. Like I'm not as talented as these guys that are playing football. I love playing linebacker. I love playing outside linebacker when I played. I love playing tight end, but I don't belong on the field with the guys that we got on the field.
Do you ever get yourself out there and practice and kind of hit around a little bit? You see some coaches doing that, especially like running back drills, tackling drills.
I made that mistake my first year here. I tore my bicep, so I'm
Oh, I remember that.
I get a little involved, but not too crazy.
Okay. All right. Pick one. Your defense gets consistent pressure with four rushers throughout a game. Your specialty or your quarterback completes 80% of his passes for a day, or your special teams returns a punt for a touchdown and gets an onside kick recovered in a game.
Yeah, we're doing only one of those you mentioned scoring. So give me the special teams. Give me the special teams touchdown. Yeah, and the onside kick recovery. That's 2 possessions right there.
I like it. All right. How many hours do you think you typically work in a regular season week?
I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. Never thought that.
18-hour days.
I mean, times, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
More at the beginning of the week than the end, but yeah, long days.
All right. You get to build your ultimate Oregon Ducks golf foursome. Who are you inviting?
You're talking former players,
Anyone, yeah. I'd say former players, yeah.
and they have to be football players. I
They don't
can't
have
put
to be.
Casey. I can't put Casey on the team.
You can definitely put Casey on the team.
I want Casey. He'd be my coach, and then I'd probably sneak over there to the women's golf team and take Kiara as well. She'd
That'd
be
be
on there.
smart.
Who else would be on there? Our tight ends coach Drew Maringer can hit the ball at country mile. So
Seen Drew out there, yeah.
if it's a scramble, I got Drew at least to get us off the tee. Yeah, I don't know which players on our team are really good. I think Andrew Boyle's a pretty good stick. I think we got some specialists. The specialists are always good golfers.
They
So
spend some
we could
time out
probably
there.
steal a couple of them. Yeah.
What about former players? I know Joey's a pretty good stick.
Yeah. I haven't got to play enough with former guys, but yeah, I'm sure Joey's good. He's a quarterback. All quarterbacks are good, right? That's the way it works. I played with Marcus once. I thought Marcus is really good. He
Yeah.
can hit it. He can hit it forever as well. So would
Yeah.
love to have Marcus out there.
Jonathan Stewart's been improving too. He's
Oh,
he's trying to
wait.
get the handicap
That's
down.
the one. Like I
That's it.
forgot this dude. I've seen him break clubs.
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen Jay Stu break clubs. He hits it so hard. And I'm seeing him making all these Instagram videos every single week of him out on the golf course. So yeah, give me Jay Stu. Like that's
He's loving
pick
it.
number one.
All right, last two here. You get an afternoon free with just you and your boys. What are you doing?
Good question. I mean, we love to go on walks.
Mhm.
We're probably watching a movie, at some point. But yeah, we're going on a walk somewhere, watching a movie. That's probably like kind of our go-tos.
I love it. Where is your favorite date night location with Sophia here in Eugene?
Good question. I like doing date night at our house. I'm
Mhm.
a big fan of not leaving the house and just relaxing at home. But if we were going out, we like Kennedy's a lot. That's a good spot. Sabai's been a good one for us too.
His
I haven't been
favorite.
to haven't been to Bepe's in a long time, but Bepe's we've always been a big fan of Bepe and Gianni's.
Can never go wrong there. All right, let's end it there. Dan, thank you so much for joining during your bye week. Really appreciate it. Safe travels this weekend on the recruiting trail, and best of luck going forward.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Zach. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, thank you once again for head coach Dan Lanning stopping by with us. Really just insightful time with him. Good time for him to take a step back during the bye week and kind of reset and dry out from that wet weather game against Wisconsin. So always enjoy chatting with him. Really good time. We will be back next week as planned. I think with Jay Stu probably on Mondays when we record and look ahead to that Iowa game. So that should be a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning into this special edition episode. Excuse me. You know where to find me on social media: Zachary C. Neel, duckswire.usatoday.com. Other than that, though, we will talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.